All right, we're going to start talking about percents, and basically a percent kind of looks like this. So we're going to kind of break that word down so we can figure out what it actually means. So if we were to write it out, we'd get 32%, which ultimately turns into 32 per space and then cent. The word cent refers to 100, which means it looks kind of like a century has 100 years in it and stuff like that. So when we have 32 per, it's ultimately 32 per 100. So a percent is a fraction, and we're always going to try to write it as a fraction. That is always out of 100, meaning the denominator is always going to be 100. So if we look at the first example, we've got write the percent as a fraction. Before really doing anything, look at the word number that they give you, 37. We're going to write 37. Because it's percent, that means it's going to be 37 with a denominator of 100. So we've got 37 over 100. If we can simplify, we're going to. However, we cannot simplify that, so my final answer will be 37 over 100. Going on to letter B, we've got 120%. Again, percents are always out of 100. So we've got 120 over 100. With this one, we can simplify. 20 goes into both of them, so we're going to divide the top and the bottom both by 20. 120 divided by 20 equals 6. 100 divided by 20 equals 5. And now we can rewrite that so it's a mixed number. So when I rewrite 6/5 as a mixed number, I'm going to end up with 1 1/5. Last one's a little tricky, but again, we're still doing it always out of 100. So if I have 0.04, I'm going to write it as 0.04 over 100. Now the problem is, fractions typically do not have decimals in them. So we need to figure out a way to get rid of that decimal. And the easiest way to do that is to multiply by 100 or just move that decimal 2 places over. The thing is, if I do something to the top of the fraction, I have to do the same thing to the bottom. So since I moved the fraction over twice, or the decimal over twice, I'm going to move the decimal over twice this way as well. So my final fraction ends up being 4 over 10,000. And now those have something in common. We can divide both the top and the bottom by 2, which will give me 2 over 5,000. And then I can simplify again, dividing by 2 again. So I end up with 1 over 2,500. And that'll be my final answer. Writing fractions as decimals. We've actually already done this before. And really what you're going to end up doing is taking the numerator, which is 4, divided by the denominator, which is 5. 5 goes into 4 0 times, so I'm going to put a 0 above the 4, and I'm going to carry a decimal up, and 5 goes into 40 8 times. So when I change my fraction to a decimal, I end up with 0.8. 3/4 as a decimal oftentimes is pretty easy. A lot of students tend to know it. But if you do not know it, we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to go numerator, divide by denominator. 4 goes into 3 0 times. I'm going to carry up a 0, or carry up a decimal and add a 0. 4 goes into 30 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. So we're going to take off 28 from 30. And we get a 2 as a remainder. Now we can keep going. We're going to add another 0 and bring it down by that 2. Now 4 goes into 20 5 times. So my final answer will be 0.75.